everybody, this is Larissa at Big Island Bees, and today we're going to be talking about honeycomb and how it's made. So here I have a frame of honeycomb, and you'll see that the cells inside the comb are little hexagon shapes. That means that they have 6 sides. Now, how the bees make this honeycomb is that they secrete wax out of a gland in their underbelly. Only the worker bees can secrete this wax. The queen does not have this gland, and neither do the drones, which are the males. So the worker bees secrete this wax by eating a ton of honey. Now how humans work is that we eat a lot of sugar and our body turns it into fat. Honeybees are fortunate enough that when they eat a ton of sugar, their body excretes wax instead of getting fatter. That's why you'll never see an overweight honeybee. So she secretes that wax out of her underbelly and she molds that wax into honeycomb shape. So actually what they're doing is not as complicated as maybe what you think. They're making a cell that's pretty much a cylinder, just a little bit larger than their body, 3/8 of an inch. And they're making it round just like their body. And they make this honeycomb in this empty shape. They form what's essentially a scaffolding by making a chain with their bodies across the frame. And they're measuring out the space. They're molding the honeycomb into cylinders, and then they vibrate their flight muscles. And that produces heat, and that melts the wax. When the wax is melted, these cylinders actually form straight lines into hexagon shapes. So they're not measuring out this perfect little hexagon shape with their little ruler and anything. What they're doing is just pretty much the same science that if you saw 2 bubbles that were connected, there would be a straight line in between those 2 bubbles. Is for the same reason, the same science, that these cylinders turn into hexagons instead of staying cylinders. Now this is beneficial for the bees because this uses the maximum amount of space, because not only are they putting honey in here, they're using it as a container to hold their food, but the queen will put her body in there and lay an egg. And when that egg hatches, it turns into a worm, and that worm curls up into this little C shape. And if it's in a C shape, but it's in a triangle shaped cell, a whole lot of those tight corners would be lost, and there wouldn't be as much room for her. But since it's a hexagon, she has more room to curl up into that C shape and float around in a whole bunch of food. So, bees form this honeycomb, and then they fill it up with their food, or the queen's putting her body in there. Now, you're going to see honeycomb in a whole bunch of different colors. A honeycomb, if melted down with nothing in it, is what we call beeswax. It is an amazing substance. You can use it in candles, you can use it in body products. A lot of people use it as a sealant over fabric to make it waterproof. You can seal furniture with it. Now, you'll see, especially in this frame, that some of the wax right up here is real dark, and then other parts where it's really light. And that's because when bees first secrete wax, it's almost pure white. But the older the wax gets, the dirtier it gets. Just like it's pretty hard to keep a pair of white jeans clean, because as you walk around, you get dirt on it. The bees, it gets dyed by different colored pollen. It gets dyed by the honey, and it gets dyed by the propolis, which is what we call bee glue, and it's very dark in color. It's plant sap, and it will stain the honeycomb dark brown. And now you will pretty much find where the baby bees are, because they line that honeycomb with bee glue because there's a lot of antibacterial properties. And essentially what they're doing is disinfecting that crib for that baby bee before the queen lays an egg inside it. So there you go. Feel free to post questions if you have any more questions about honeycomb. Aloha!